All right, guys, I'm not clickbaiting you at all. I sold not one stock, not two stocks, not four stocks, but six stocks. So I wanted to bring those to you guys today and talk about the why behind each one, and so we can kind of have a broader discussion on it all. I just ask that you gently tap that like button and consider subscribing too. It's super easy to do if you like the truth without the hype. So the first stock I sold was Clover Stock. And for me, this was actually bought way back in the hype cycle of 2020-21 or so. 2021, if I could talk. This was bought back in 2021, and I actually bought it after the short seller report, and it actually got beaten down. And a lot of times I like to do that with stocks. It's not a traditional swing trade by any stretch of the measure. But when I see there's a short seller report during a hot market, the stock takes a beating, usually 20, 30%, sometimes even more than that. And I like to take a look at the report, see if there's anything there, and then try to catch the bump up once, obviously, most of the time. It's not all the time, but a lot of the times the short seller reports are wrong. So for me, the risk reward is there to kind of see if I can get a nice little, 20, 30% pop or so in the stock. Just basically, a modified swing trade is what I'll call it here. So that was the strategy behind that stock, and I got exactly what I wanted. But then it got caught up in kind of one of those, Wall Street bets type hype runs, and it just went to the moon. I wasn't expecting that. That's not why I bought it. I had no idea it was even being discussed in those rooms. I don't look in that stuff. I don't read any of it. I don't listen to any of that sort of thing. But hey, it's one of those times to where I took the risk, and yeah, that's a lot of luck. I agree. So I ended up actually tripling up my money on that investment. I was looking to make 30%. I ended up tripling it up. And I sold the vast majority of my shares at that time. And I held on to just a few just in case that kind of squeeze or whatever the heck was going on back during that time continued. I would still own a few more shares that I could continue to get that run out of. And of course, it didn't happen. It came right back down to earth, just like everything else. But I honestly never got rid of the stock. I should have just sold it after the run was over with and moved on with life. But I'm a certified stock hoarder, if we're being honest here. And I didn't get rid of those shares. So for me, it was shares that were just kind of lingering in my portfolio. It's a nominal amount. It wasn't a lot. But the point being, I held on to them for no real good reason, to be honest. Sometimes you have to just do spring cleaning type things with your portfolios and get rid of a lot of the junk. Now, sometimes it's a situation like that where I just got it. I wasn't tracking the stock. I wasn't paying any attention. Other times it's just you're kind of riding on a lot of hope per se. And hope's a terrible strategy. So you're hoping the stock goes up, you made a mistake and you don't want to admit the mistake, so you end up holding onto it too long. There's a lot of different reasons why we hold on to stocks a lot longer than we should have. But in this case, it was just, I don't have a good reason for it. I'm just a stock hoarder. I just held on to it. And then honestly, I ignored it. And then I kind of forgot about it until somebody kind of mentioned in my group that, hey, why do you own that stock? What's the thesis? Et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, oh yeah, I do own that stock and I don't have a thesis. I don't have a good reason. The reason why I bought it has already played out and come and gone. And so I needed to get rid of that stock. And if you wanted to see that swing trade or other swing trades like that, and of course see all my buy and sell alerts in real time, make sure you take advantage of the sale for my group that is ending tomorrow, guys. And the price is going to go up forever. Go down to the website, check it out, see everything that you get there. I'm not going to belabor this video with a big long sales pitch, but the sale does end tomorrow. To take advantage of that sale, and you can see down there when you look, the price is going to go up significantly after this to support the new stock analyzer tool that we have that's completely free for you guys to use as members, and some of the future things that we have coming to the group here. So if you want to take advantage of that price, now's the time, because the price goes up tomorrow forever. So the second stock that I sold was Cinemark. And guys, this is another one of those plays where it was a planned swing trade. I actually had a defined, price target that I wanted to hit. It almost got there. I mean, it missed it by like, I don't know, 50 cents or something like that. I didn't sell it. And then of course, 2022 happened. And, I ended up just holding the stock all the way down through the bottom until we finally came back to the positive here, and I finally sold it for a little bit of a gain. It's not a lot. It was nothing nominal, nothing to write home about or anything else like that. I should have taken my gains whenever I was 50 cents away in the first place. So that's my fault. That was my mistake. And I ended up holding onto a stock that I don't believe in long-term. It's not something that I want to hold long-term personally. Lesson learned there for all of us. Execute to your plan. But man, if you're awful close to that plan, especially on a trade like that, it's getting really close to that target, go ahead and get rid of that sucker, especially since we all kind of saw that 2022 was going to be a tough year. I don't think anybody saw the disaster that it ended up being, but we definitely knew the Fed was raising rates, and that wasn't a good environment to try to swing trade a stock. So definitely some lessons there to be learned for myself, of course, as always. And hopefully you guys learned a lesson there too as well, that, hey, make sure you take advantage of opportunities when they come, when your trade works out if you're going to trade. You guys know I don't trade often. I'm a long-term buy and hold investor, and that's exactly what my plan was for stock number 3. And that stock would be AT&T, and the plan was to hold that one for the long term. Basically, management came in, they laid out this great vision to turn around AT&T, move into a lot of different places. And I was excited for it. I really thought it was an opportunity. It was beaten down at the time, and it was a great opportunity to kind of see, is management going to take advantage of this or not? Are they going to be able to turn it around or not? And the price was just juicy and there for the taking. So I took the shares, but then just a few months later, management basically changed their mind and blew up the whole plan. I mean, they spun a bunch of things off. I mean, it was one of the most baffling things I've ever seen. And I had just started to build out my position. So I didn't have a full position. I was starting to build out my position and I was kind of in a lurch. It's like, wait, I'm not sure I like this new direction that they're going. I like the old new direction they were going, but I didn't like the new direction they were going. But of course, being a stock hoarder, I decided to take a wait and see approach. And unfortunately, wait and see ended up getting me completely pummeled last year with this stock. Now, thankfully, the position was small, but that's irrelevant here. But I ended up just holding it really for no good reason other than, man, I'm just hoping that this new plan works out. And that's a terrible investing strategy and a complete mistake on my part. So it was time to clean up that mistake and get rid of that stock. And so that's exactly what I did by selling AT&T. So stock number 4 that I sold is GE. And I know a lot of you guys, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you know the story behind GE. I basically bought it way back after the financial crisis happened. And literally, you could throw money at any stock and you made a crap ton of money in between then, 2008, 2009, 2010. And now in 2023, despite the crashes and everything else happening, you made a ton of money almost without fail, regardless of what you invested in. But of course, I bought a stock that I thought was going to rebound heavily. I thought GE was going to take its place among, great companies that had a great plan, great turnaround plan. And of course, the exact opposite happened. I chose wrong at that time. I made the mistake. And unfortunately, I held the mistake in my portfolio for a specific reason. It was to remind me, don't be a freaking dummy when you go to evaluate stocks. Don't let a legacy industry like that, even if there is a plan there to turn around, trick you into basically building out a much larger position than you should have in an industry that I really didn't want to own at the time. I was more focused on growth, but I decided to buy GE to kind of diversify and kind of lessen the risk. And that was a mistake in the end because it went basically nowhere. You can pull up the chart there and look at GE. It's basically gone pretty much nowhere since back then. So it was one of those things. If I would have just put more money into Apple or you picked the stock back then, probably would have made a lot more money, but I didn't. And so for me, it was finally time to kind of get rid of that anchor in my portfolio there that I was using as a reminder of a mistake. And it's like, I'm never going to forget that mistake. I know that. So it was just time to cut that loose and put that capital to use elsewhere. And on to number 5. That would be HPQ Silicon. And I know nobody's really heard of that, and that's the honest truth. It was another one of those swing trades that I held on to a little bit too long. And of course, it ended up costing me in the end because it didn't come back. It was far more speculative than I should have been playing with, and I knew better. And it was definitely in a sector that I did not know as much about. And I just basically got caught. It just same thing happened to me with Sarepta. You guys remember last year, maybe it was the year before. I'm not exactly sure now. I bought into an industry I didn't understand, was trying to play a swing trade game, and it just didn't work out well at all for me. And of course, I did what I always do. I held the dumb stock, so I had to get rid of that stock and basically cut ties with it and take the loss there. That proves the point, once again, that we all need to invest in stocks that have businesses that we understand. When you get outside of that and you buy stocks that you do not understand in a business you do not understand, you don't understand how they make money, you can't accurately project out what the long-term future of that stock is and that, industry and everything else, it's a bad idea to kind of buy that sort of stock for anything other than a day trader or swing trade or something like that. So again, mistake on my part. It's one of those things. It happens to us all. And that's exactly what happened in that scenario. And hopefully I won't make that mistake again, even though I knew better in the first place. And yes, guys, it's one of those things where I basically tucked it away in my portfolio and pretended like I didn't do that, but I did do that. So, kind of one of those deals. You can't just hide it and pretend like it's not there. It was there for me and I needed to cut it and sell it and move on with life. And stock number 6 would be Tattooed Chef. And I know it was a YouTube favorite. Thankfully, this was another stock that I bought, and I bought it as a long-term hold to see if the actual thesis will play out. And thankfully, I kept my position size very small, which is key to owning any speculative stock. I know we've talked about it here on this channel before. There's actually a long-form video in my group. It's about 40 minutes long or so, where we walk through exactly how, my thought process between the 12 spec plays that I bought during, kind of the crisis time last year to kind of see if I can make some money out of those. And I understood some of those are going to be losers. Some of them are going to be huge winners. And the way you kind of control that risk is with position size. And so that, thankfully, I held strong to that there, but it doesn't mean the stock wasn't a loser. So it was time to finally cut ties with that stock and get rid of it. It was a big loser. And remember, the sale ends tomorrow for the group. If you want to take advantage of 5 courses for free, be able to use that stock analyzer tool for free, we got tons of exclusive videos. I release 3, 4, 5 of those a week. You get direct access to me anytime you want. You can slide into my DMs. You can jump on our live Q&As that we do weekly. You can jump in the Discord there, which we have the best 6- and 7-figure investors in that Discord helping everybody out with all the concepts we talked about today. You can see their buy and sell alerts too, in addition to my buy and sell alerts. I got a watch list complete with price targets there of every stock I'm looking to buy. You get to see everything I do, basically. It's all right there on the table for you. So make sure you check out the pinned comment, take advantage of the sale, because that price is going to go up forever, guys, and you're never going to get this price again. So make sure you check it out. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market, and click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.